Hey church, Caleb here. For those of you who might not know me, I am one of the church's missionaries. It was great getting to see some of you guys on Saturday at the missions breakfast via Zoom. And I really, really appreciate your prayers during that time, and I really, really appreciate how you guys commissioned and sent me off twice now. Really appreciate it. So a couple of weeks ago, David asked me to do a video on the Great Commission and why it's really important and crucial for every Christian to know. So I just wanted to start off by reading it, and this is the specific Great Commission that I'm looking into is the one at the end of Matthew, which is in chapter 28, verses 18 to 20. There are other Great Commissions in the Bible, Acts 1:8, Mark 16, but I think this one is a really great version of it. They are all equally legitimate and amazing, but today I'm going to just be referring to this one. So it starts off in verse 18. Jesus came and said to them, "All authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me. Go therefore and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit, teaching them to observe all that I have commanded you. And behold, I am with you always to the end of the age." Now, there are a few reasons why this is so significant and important for us as Christians to understand. And I think the first thing is because this is Jesus' last words on earth before he ascended. That must mean it's important. That must mean it is a crucial thing that we cannot forget. And two, we can really see how this shapes the church going forward. All of these things are things that we as a church, it's a part of our mission. It's a part of what we do. We baptize people. We teach people what Jesus said. What else does it say in there? We go to all of the nations and make disciples. We do these things. These are part of our body. Why? Because of the words in here and because of the other places in the Bible where this comes up. This is a great summarization of ministry and our direction forward. And we can see how it shapes the early church right from then on in the book of Acts and going forward right to us. So I think it's significant because of those reasons. And I think it's very significant just because of the specific things that it denotes that we are to do. So Jesus says to them, "All authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me." He starts it off by just, again, reaffirming his identity and why he has the authority to say these things. It's because Jesus is king and he holds the authority to direct us and to direct us as the church. He says, "Go therefore and make disciples of all nations." So there's a therefore there. What's the classic saying? If there's a therefore, find out what it's there for. And it is there. It's basically saying because of who Jesus is, because of the authority that he holds, let us therefore respond to his instructions and make disciples of all nations. The word nations here is not referring to sovereign states like we might think of it. In fact, what a country was or a nation is very different to what we see as a nation today, where it's like a sovereign state governed by one government. Back then, nations were more like family groups and people groups. So if you think of like the people of Israel as being kind of a family group all descended from Abraham, they are a people group together, and other things like that. So if we apply that to the way that the world looks right now, each nation is made up, in fact, of many, many different little nations. In India, there's thousands of small individual people groups with individual languages, cultures, and history. It seems here that the mission of the Great Commission is not just to specific nations and sovereign states, because if that's true, we've done it. There's a Christian in every country on earth. Great, we've done the Great Commission. It's not really about that. It's about those individual small language groups. And as Adam mentioned on Sunday, there are over 7,000 languages that exist. What's next? So, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit. Pretty self-explanatory there. Part of the Great Commission is baptizing those we disciple, baptizing those who become Christians, and teaching them to observe all that I have commanded to. So a big element of it is not just evangelical, but it's actually teaching them. We are currently going through the gospel at church, one of them, Mark, and quite literally going through the teachings of Jesus as it's outlined in here. We are to pass on the teachings of Jesus and teach people to observe and obey them. And there's a really, really cool affirmation at the end of this. And he says, "Behold, I am with you always to the end of the age." As we go forth in ministry all across the world, whether we're in Cleveland, the Greater Redlands area, Brisbane, no matter where you are, we can really take faith in the fact that Jesus is with us always to the end of the age. Thanks, guys.